Hello, Mother. It's good to see you. It's always good to see you. It doesn't matter if it's you or one of your, well, I'm not really sure what to call them. I don't think clones is the right word. But I have to admit it is rather amazing. It is very amazing, actually, how you can project your will, your personality, your spirit into the minds and bodies of pretty much any woman on this planet, complete with your powers, and they become perfect carbon copies of you. Yes. Well, no, you did mention you didn't want me telling my sibling that particular aspect of your abilities, so I didn't, along with the other things we discussed. Well, yes, my sibling has absolutely no clue that the young woman who has been bringing him his meals and speaking with him is one of your, well, that she's basically you, just a different body. I'm sorry, Mother, I'm a bit confused by the question. Well, I guess normally something like that would upset me. But as I told my sibling, I think free will is overrated. You give people free will, and they do whatever the hell they want. Let's face it, homicide detectives used to exist before you took over the world because people used their free will to murder each other. I mean, yes, I understand there were some cases of homicide in which a person accidentally ran someone over, got scared, and took off. But they shouldn't have taken off. Another example of free will. But most of the time, a lot of the things called homicide were really murder. That's what people use their free will for. And these women, whom you project your spirit and your mentality onto, they lose their free will. They lose who they are. And they don't ever get it back. You know what? Maybe that's not such a bad thing. You know what these women did before you take them over, before you make them carbon copies of you, just with different bodies and faces. You know what they've done. The one who's been bringing my sibling his food. You know what she did. And it was unforgivable. Quite frankly, she's better off being a carbon copy of you with your powers. And it's amazing that these copies, all of them, they do what you say. You don't even have to say anything, they just know. They're extensions of you. It's actually quite amazing. I mean, after all, that explains how you took over the world so quickly. I mean, the good ones. The ones who try to live a moral life. You let them continue. You let them keep their free will. The ones who understand that free will and responsibility go hand in hand. You let them keep who they are, for lack of a better term. You are an amazing woman. I love you, Mother. I wish you had come along a lot earlier than you did. I wish I didn't have the experiences I do. I wish I were a lot more innocent. Thank you, Mother. I appreciate that. But in order to become the man I am, before you came along, I lost my innocence. I don't know. I would have liked to have at least kept some of it. I will say this. Another benefit of your clones is that they're just as warm and motherly as you are. I know, they're basically you. Different bodies, different faces. But they're you. And it doesn't matter if it's you or one of them. Being in your arms is the greatest joy and satisfaction I've felt in a long, long time. Well, I can't help it. My sibling, well, like I said, I never told my sibling how you conquered the world. Basically making all of those copies of yourself among the women. And I also left out the fact that he's, well, I also left out the fact that he's been caught. Yep, the leader of the rebels. And if my sibling ever found out, it would bring them a great deal of anguish, sorrow, bitterness, and hatred, especially towards you. Well, the leader was easy to catch. I mean, this is what he used. A very cheap voice changer off of eBay. I mean, despite the fact that it has 3 buttons, it only has basically one mode, robot. So yeah, this is a voice changer. You take this, you switch it on, runs off of a 9-volt battery, and you get a robot voice. You can change the pitch and the tone higher or lower. But there's only a certain range in which this thing is effective. On the back, you press this up against the receiver, you talk in here, and it makes your voice sound like a broken down robot. Honestly, he started using it too many times. we were able to track him. And I'm not gonna lie, I used, well, you gave me a couple of abilities, a couple of powers, which I also didn't tell my sibling about, and I was able to use them effectively to find the leader of the rebels. You gave me these powers, you gave them to other individuals all across the world who are loyal to you in order to track down every last rebel, and we did. The leader was the last one, and we found him. You should have seen how scared he was when we did. But one of your clones was with me. And when she wrapped her arms around him and told him everything was okay, he cried and he wept like a little baby. And he said how sorry he was for standing against you. I didn't tell my sibling that there's only one rebel left, and it's the one looking back in the mirror every time they wake up every morning in their cell. What can I say, Mother? If you were evil, I would stand side by side with my sibling, fighting you and your clones to the bitter end. But I know you're not evil. These women whom you take over, and they lose their free will and they can never get it back, and they'll never be who they once were. They had a chance to lead a good life. They flushed it down the toilet. Heck, that clone who wrapped her arms around the rebel leader, she was originally a crackhead. She would have eventually OD'd. She stabbed a couple of men in robberies gone wrong just to get a few dollars. She deserved what she got. I suspect you could take away free will from men if you wanted to. I wish you would. I think the world would be a better place without it. There's still a lot of evil out there. If you wish to speak with my sibling, I can't stop you. But honestly, I think it would be a waste of time. I really do. Oh, the bronze skull. Yeah, turns out someone stole the stainless steel skull from Dr. Smith. And he really can't make videos on his public access channel without a skull. So I'm letting him borrow my bronze skull until he finds his stainless steel one. He'll be by soon to pick it up. Yes. As for my sibling, maybe speaking to him will help. I don't know. Maybe. If you want to try. Okay. I'll arrange it. You know you can count on me, Mother.